years in the States, the election of 2008 eventually between Barack Obama and John McCain, but during the early stages, it was Hillary Clinton ran for president, collected almost a majority of delegates, and came very close to being the first woman president of the United States. So that takes us up to date. Do you have any questions or comments? What do you think about this question? Comment?
Nicolas, is it right that so many women in a Senate, it makes great influence on society in general, and it raises the role of women in society on different levels?
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Of course, I mean, to some extent, if women can see now that there are other women at high levels of government conducting and making policy, then you have the idea that, well, if they're making the national laws by which we live by, this is a prime example of, what I can do, or what we can do, or what you guys can do, what women can do. So it does have an effect on society, I think, to some extent. Of course, once again, most of the American population is very apathetic about government, and they don't really pay too much attention to what's going on anyway. But those that do can see the fact that there's, and especially the Hillary campaign. The Hillary campaign, when I say the Hillary campaign, I was talking about this earlier, is that, and it's kind of interesting, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. We said Senator Obama's running. We said Senator McCain's running. We didn't say John's running. We didn't say Barack is running. But when it came to Senator Clinton, we didn't say Senator Clinton. We said Hillary. So we used the first name. I don't know, something that, does anybody have anything to, seems kind of unusual. Seems almost a little bit demeaning. And you don't say Senator Clinton, you say Hillary for president, not, Obama for president. You always generally use the last name, so we use the first name in this case. But the Hillary campaign definitely excited a lot of feminist groups in the United States. I had a professor at the college that was the local head of the Democratic Party in Savannah, and she was all about the Hillary campaign, all excited, passing it out. And a lot of people got excited about it because they thought that finally, and it came very close, that Hillary, and of course now Hillary Clinton is part of the administration. Hillary Clinton is the Secretary of State in the United States, so she has a high role. Not the first Secretary of State that's a woman, by the way. The last Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, under the Bush administration, is a woman as well. So you have women in high positions of authority. And I think I think Hillary Clinton really does make a difference in the feminist movement, because you see her on TV talking to presidents and prime ministers and Arab sheiks and kings and all over the place. So you see a woman in a position traditionally occupied by men. You think traditionally somebody like Henry Kissinger, old white males. But so that, I think that, does that answer or touches on your question? Another thing that sort of is interesting about the current portrayal of women in the media and the increasing exposure of women in places of high either authority or high status is that there's three major news networks in the United States: ABC, NBC, and CBS. And out of these three, for years, since the beginning, the nightly newscast, which is not so much anymore since the advent of cable and satellite television, but used to be watched by everybody, was dominated by male anchors. Always, you would have female reporters, but the lead man sitting at the desk delivering your news was always a man, until very recently. Now, 2 out of 3 networks have women anchors. So every night when you turn on to get your daily news, you have 2 women anchors. One is still a male, Brian Williams on NBC. So these are high status positions. But then there's also people and this is the other side of the thing, I think this is a really interesting part of the discussion. More people, I believe, especially at younger ages, don't really look to Katie Couric on the nightly news as their role model, or as somebody they want to emulate, try to be like, try to look like. They look to people like, Britney Spears and Paris Hilton, and these people that, supermodels. And a feminist theory now has moved in about the late 90s, and currently there's this idea among, I say it's probably a majority opinion among feminist theorists, that women now, there's this resexualization of women. Like, it's not a demeaning thing, or it's not something like, well, women is sexy. People wear revealing clothing, or women now wear revealing clothing as an empowerment measure. Something to say, we're sexy. You can wear, low-cut things, short skirts and things like that. It's called the sexualization of women. And it's a hot topic. And it's a highly contested topic, too. Because if you look in magazines, I'm sure there's some here, if you look in just everyday magazines, the ads, or you see ads on the street, you see ads on the metro, you see these women that are very slender and very, very attractive. And the Americans, I don't know if you know this, but America currently is going through this obesity epidemic, where now 2/3 of Americans are obese. So you have all these young girls that are looking through their 17 magazines, which are very popular, or their teenage magazines, and seeing these beautiful women, and they say, I want to be like that, but maybe they're 100 pounds overweight. So you end up with people like, do you know what anorexia is?
Mm-hmm.
So anorexia is a problem where people are starving themselves, and bulimia, where people eat and then go to throw up in the bathroom, is a way to try to fit this image. So there's two sides to it, and I don't know what you guys think about this. Anybody have any? You got to have some thoughts about this. I know nobody has any thoughts about this. What do you think? Do you think that we should put? I mean, that's sex sells. So if you're going to try to sell some lingerie or something, you don't want to have, a very large person trying to sell lingerie. What if you're trying to sell, this water here? I mean, do you have to have a supermodel selling water? Can it just not be an average woman selling water? Or even an overweight woman selling water? Anybody have any thoughts about this? You think about this sexualization of women, you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? You think it's an empowering thing, or do you think it's making a bad example for the youth? What do you think?
I would say that today's women are very attractive, sexy, but our society think only about their body, about their short skirts, and I think it's very bad because our youth only want to be sexy, but not what are inside you. And I want to add about anorexia. I think that these people don't have their minds. I think they are maybe ill, if I can say. And I think that it's a problem of our society, not only a problem of this person. And I think that our some maybe TV programs, our models, and our even politics should to decide this problem, to speak maybe about this, and to have maybe some to give psychology help, and to make some clubs for these people, because they are very, very weak, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. What about anybody else?